We're back live, and we're going to be covering this case, the Sean Diddy Combs case that is going on in the Brooklyn courthouse. We obviously got knocked off by the spam Federal Bureau of Investigation's calls, afraid of somebody's popularity. You remember Drake's hater list? In reality, when you start becoming popular, you start having that hater list, a list of people that are hating. I think Drake had Hot 97, Travis Scott, and everybody in the industry. Because when you're reaching pinnacles, my friends, you're going to have obstacles. When you are reaching pinnacles, you're going to have obstacles. It's very important to defend yourself, not just in the court of law, but defend yourself in real life. That's so very important to defend yourself. Another FedEx worker, black and brown worker, great American citizen. It was a protester that once said, he said, "We don't just give you the protest, we give you the peace. We're handing you the peace. We don't just give you the protest, we're handing you peace." So you think about Sean Diddy Combs walking out those doors, possibly being a free man again. When we talk free, you talk enslaved, indentured servants. For many years, so many Americans were not free. And still today, Angola, prisons go on. The penitentiary is a perfect free labor service. It's a labor service that is free. It is a free. They get all of that labor done for free. You can look up how many billions of dollars does the prison system make every single year. The only thing knocked the numbers down was COVID. It took 1 million people to die in this country. It took 1 million people. It took exactly 1 million people to die in this country to slow down that prison system. That is a reality of the fact that this city and many cities in America make their dollar bill on inmates. How much is they say the Federal Bureau of Investigations can't be bought. That's one of the biggest lies told. Take all their money away and see how desperate they get. It's certain things we're not taught to speak out about, and that's the Federal Bureau of Investigations. That for some reason, we're afraid to talk about the very system that holds us all down. Maybe we all just don't have time to. And many people say, well, that's a victim talking. You sound like a victim. Whatever I sound like what I want to sound like. Whatever I sound like I want to sound like. In other words, a closed mouth don't get fed. I don't care how many times that you are wanting to be a millionaire, if you don't have a idea of a way to do it, a capital, it takes money to make money. It took money to grow Photography Plug. We had to get to the cities. We had to go to the places. We had to end up where Holly Berry was at. We went to the places. We go to the cities. We took our money and invested on these trips to black media. So very important. And the new wave of streaming. So if you're not getting used to people streaming, it was an individual, they said made $12 million on Twitch. 12 million on Twitch. YouTube wants to fight over $1,000 or $2. YouTube wants to not, they're a great company, but they're not going to be able to write those big checks like a Twitch. We're going to switch the platform over to companies like Twitch. Very good company. I heard a lot about it. Not a lot of people are actually on it, but it's very good streaming service, that Twitch. So I will be working on that. That is no incoming calls. Obviously, when we get an incoming call, it comes from the spam and they know what they're doing. Hold on, he's getting more views. Please stop him. Please stop photography plug. He's getting so many views. He's getting so many subscribers. He's getting so many people to come to his page. When it's all said and done, when I went to New York City, and we get back to the Sean Diddy Combs case, Adam was there. The owner, not the owner, but the person that runs IG, upset at me. It's my third year. I was there. We've been got the photos of Kim Kardashian and all of that. But being black and brown in America seems to be, especially as an entrepreneur, especially when you're sober. You say, well, no, I don't drink. Or no, I don't smoke. That's the problem. Then they say, well, what does he do wrong? Everybody does something wrong. I have nothing to hide. I'm not the type of person. Everybody has something to hide, but I have nothing to hide. I'm not the type of person that's gonna hide something. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it in front of your face. I don't have to, oh man, he got something to hide. Everybody has something to hide. So I think Sean Diddy Combs had a lot more to hide. Like I said, simple assault. It's no Rico racketeering. It's no Rico racketeering. Somebody said, do I smoke weed? You know, it's not much marijuana around here. So I stopped. CBD. The police can pull you over and they say, well, they're not even serving marijuana. They just serve CBD. Now, in New York City, yeah, of course, you have the good marijuana dispensaries. They don't even sell tobacco. They just sell the marijuana in the joints and you can just smoke them like that. Forget about the tobacco. That's going to cost you another $4, $5 just to get a cigar. New York City has done away with a lot of that junk. They actually have good marijuana. So I think I am a marijuana advocate. I'm not here to talk about marijuana all day and how good it is. I think it's a drug. Drug's a drug. But real marijuana helps. K2, CBD, they're trying to do the same thing that they've been trying to do for years. Destroy black and brown communities. And they have not been successful in no way, shape, form, or fashion. It's more black people in this world than it is any other race in this world. We have more hearts, we have more lungs, we have more countries, we have more people. The only people you can compare us to is China. And we have more people than China. So, guys, it's a wonderful feeling to be empowered and to not read those statistics and say, well, more black people go to, all that's hogwash. That's falsehood. All that is hogwash and falsehood. That is falsehood. Black people are not successful. Black people, yes, yeah, right. We're not just talking about the pyramids. We're talking about like P. Diddy, 500 million. You're just mad when we become successful. You just call the phone. And we trace those numbers to a federal number. And you say, oh, I'm scared of the federal government, but you ain't scared to go, you know what, to another, you know what. But you're afraid of speaking up and speaking out and saying, it's not the year of 1995 when we ran from the police when we were in 8th grade. This ain't 85. This ain't 95. When we were running from the police when we were children. We don't run from anybody. No surrender, no retreat. The illegal immigrants showed and proved that. They said, man, we'll come straight up to the federal buildings. And we're illegal. Just imagine if you're illegal at the federal building. Imagine what a legal American citizen can do. So this is an experiment to see if that jury is actually, listen to me closely, If that's a little bit of love in the air, that's a beautiful thing. Black love. A little bit of black love in the air. And we absolutely love it. You know, I've been on many blocks, Manhattan, New York, California, Beverly Hills. They've never been able to move me 1 square inch. Not the federal bureau, not the state police, not the sheriffs, not any of the police have ever been able to move me 1 inch. The freedom of press is an amendment. That's an amendment. That's your right. Your not just your constitutional right. That's your amendment. The freedom of press. You don't have to be a press company. You don't have to have an LLC, but you can't go to YouTube now and put in photography plug and think they're not going to say, well, this is my company. You can't go to IG and say, well, I want to name my company photography plug. It's already copywritten. So you think about Bad Boy and how many people have stolen from Kanye West? How many people have stolen from Sean Diddy Combs? We're not talking about the money that's allocated. The money that they have. We're talking about the ideas that were stolen from Bad Boy. How many fake Biggie Smalls rappers? How many fake Kanye West? As soon as Kanye West put out those holy shirts, everybody said it's garbage. And every store, including TJ Maxx, had holy shirts. He changed the fashion industry. Sean Diddy Combs has changed the music industry. He wasn't the most hardest core rapper. No, everybody knows Sean Diddy Combs is not a good rapper. Did he make hit songs? Yes, a few. He signed artists that he could take advantage of. We know that because he is not a strong individual. He's intelligent, he's rich, powerful, but he was not a Tupac Shakur. He's not one of those hardcore MCs. It's a whole new game out here. Now people are different. Exactly. But we're all in the same generation. You can forget about saying that you're in a different generation than Donald Trump. Donald Trump is close to 80 years old. If he lives 20 more years, he'll be 100. My friends, how will you be in 21 years? You won't be 100, but you're in the same generation. If you happen to die in the next 20 years, my friends, you're in the same generation. Trump outlived you. That was a whole hogwash when they came up with, well, Y, Z, this and that. No, same generation. We're on the earth at the same time. We're the same people. Doesn't matter if you're 1 or you're 81, that 1-year-old might not survive to tomorrow. So you think about the idea of this trial. Right now, everybody can say guilty, 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 and they can come back and say he's just been found guilty. The jury is out right now. He could be a free man walking away. You can't see in the glass door. I'm across the street. If you can't see that, immigrant is sweeping the floors. I'm saying legal, probably legal. It's sweeping the floors. So this country has a long way to go. If we have immigrants sweeping the floors and at the same time they're being attacked, I think we probably got a long way to go. So much farther than where Donald Trump can ever take us. He's too old. He's a great president. He's just way too old to possibly be able to take us into the next century. There's nothing that he could possibly do to make. I think somebody commented, they say, I'm single. Yes, but I'm single when I want to be single. In other words, any man, yeah, I think any man or man, I can have 2 and 3 wives. I have a few waiting on me right now. So never get it twisted. I'm single by choice, meaning I don't like these poop butt girls. I need somebody of substance. I need somebody that actually knows about capitalism and things of that sort, not just an IG model that has no net worth. Somebody commented, real talk. I really appreciate you guys supporting us. This is an experiment. Life is an experiment. But this is an experiment to see if we could go live at the same time he's found guilty or innocent. He's going to be found guilty, guys. It's too many charges. They gave him three charges, three RICO racketeering. They gave him life for the first charge. They got a jury out with a 51-year-old scientist and 4 women and the rest men. They don't want to see a black man with $500 million and they can't make $500 million. Do you think that jury is trying to say innocent? You have lost your mind. Just imagine a black man with $100 million. And just imagine you go to Manhattan right now, it's no black teenagers. They ran them off the block. Well, I went to Manhattan, it's no black people whatsoever. We're talking about the upper echelon Manhattan. There's no black businesses. I went to Hollywood, same thing. Hispanics ran it all. The only black business that was a black employee, he was bouncing a basketball on the Stars Hall of Fame. It says, when you say 3 charges, doesn't mean that he's going to get the electric chair. No, it doesn't mean he's going to get the electric chair. No, you're exactly right. It does not mean he's going to get the electric chair. He'll get like 345 months. So if you go to court and you leave court and you get 345 months, you go back to your cell and you say, I got months, I'm good. How many months you get? I got 372 months. Do the math. On a person that's not a violent criminal, he had to survive. Now, if somebody's pointing a gun at you, legally you can point one and shoot one back, right? I mean, we have to have common sense. He's in a very hard industry. He's in a very tough industry. If you're in a tough industry, my friends, any industry is tough. I don't care if you're selling t-shirts. I don't care if you're selling cars. I don't care what you're selling. Every industry is cutthroat. There's no industry out here that is not cutthroat. So he was in one of the more cutthroat industries. If I was the attorney, I would have said he was just a reality TV show. He thought he was in a reality TV show. This was all just a reality TV show. Somebody said the jury is bought. No, that jury is not bought. That jury was coming back with a guilty verdict. If the jury comes back with a 100% innocent verdict, it's almost like an impossibility. For that jury to come back with 100% innocent verdict is absolutely preposterous. Do you think all of these white people on this jury is going to look at this rich, black, successful man being with women that they can only dream of? They cannot go. They can go to New York and say, go to a club, and they can meet a beautiful woman, but they're not going to be able to spend the money that Sean Diddy Combs spends. That's a good company, Junk Doctors. Refine. There's another company we're gonna start, not just photography plug. We're gonna find. We're gonna find in this country, and we're gonna find more than the Federal Bureau of Investigations. And I'm gonna put it in their face. They say, no, we'll just arrest you. You can't do it. It's a monopoly. It's illegal. Everybody has a fair shot. Kia cannot be a monopoly. No company in America can solely be a monopoly. Nobody. It's already been proven. Having the U.S. Postal Service try to be a monopoly years ago, DHL. DHL sued them. And now we have Amazon. Now we have all of these different companies. Technically, no, if you are firing a weapon, you don't have the concealed carry permit or going to jail. It matters. Nobody's going to allow anybody to shoot. It was an instance in my hometown, a Food Line. An officer tried to pull his gun on this guy. The guy pulled his gun out faster and shot the officer in the head. The officers died, unfortunately. Guys, we talk tough topics and we talk what's important. And what's important is you going home safe and alive, but knowing the law. Like I said, I've been to Manhattan. I've dealt with these police in New Jersey when they jump off of the bikes and they're ready to pummel you. They're ready to do anything to you against the law. Somebody just commented years. That was Sarah. Years. He will get years incarcerated behind this whole thing of this fake RICO racketeering charge. Any person, not even just black or brown person, that amass a lot of money, amass a lot of wealth, amass this whole block can be bought. This entire block can probably be bought with about $100 million. If you took $50,000 out of, if you took $10,000 away from each of these businesses, they'll go out of business. That's how small, that's how fecal this economy is. So when you take away a $500 million man, a $1 billion man from the black community, and you say, well, we're the Federal Bureau of Investigations, you're really a drug dealer. You pled guilty to selling drugs in LA. How do we know those same drugs the Federal Bureau of Investigations pled guilty in selling didn't end up in Sean Diddy Combs 30 years later hands? He's not a cartel member. He doesn't work for the United States America, which the Army was proven to had trafficked drugs. How many drugs did UPS traffic? How many drugs did FedEx traffic? How many laws have BMW broke on shipping their vehicles? How many has Cherokee, the business, been a fair business? Is Chevrolet 100% fair business? Is Acura? Is Ford? Cadillac would not sell to black people for years. You used to have to get a white person to co-sign. When Cadillac first opened up, white people had to co-sign to buy a Cadillac. Cadillac has never been investigated by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. These are people's names. Johnson & Johnson baby oil has never been investigated by the Federal Bureau of Investigations. They're the ones that sell millions and millions of tons of the stuff. So if all of these companies, I really appreciate all of your comments. I do see them all. I'll be reading them here. We get a nice wind gust here. If all of these companies have never been investigated, it doesn't seem fair for Sean Diddy Combs' Bad Boy record label to be investigated by the Federal Bureau. And the feds seem to only investigate brown or black people. No Brad Pitt, no Angelina Jolie, no Jennifer Lopez, even though whatever she is, she's Hispanic. They have their choices on who they want to investigate. Even when Jennifer Lopez was involved with that shooting downtown when Sean Poe went to prison for 10 years, P. Diddy, she never, even Tory Lane's case, they never talked about the Star's house it was. The same ones making the laws, breaking the laws. We are law, not the government. The same ones breaking the laws seem to be making the laws because originally, 100% originally, this is how it all started, my friends. This is how it all started. Police started with slavery. These buildings were, the land was never bought. They just pummeled concrete and said Jefferson, and I guarantee it's no bill of sale. It's no bill of sale for half of these companies in America. And if you go out to Los Angeles and you look at the Federal Bureau's investigations, jail. If you see, because if you commit a crime in Washington, D.C. or L.A., you automatically go to, if you commit any crime in Washington, D.C., you go into the feds because it's Washington, D.C. So that's why the Federal Bureau of Investigations in Washington, D.C. is all black. That's why the blacks run the feds. The blacks run the feds. If I ever get locked up in the feds, guess what? We run it because I'm black. It ain't nothing but blacks. Somebody just commented, we must come together and stand together. I do agree with that. I think it does take a lot of individuality. It's going to take, takes so much. We're the leaders. We're the richest. We're the most powerful. We own the most gold and assets, and we have the most people, right? We have the power. But your statistics doesn't tell you that. So every day you wake up, you say, I'm losing, I'm losing, I'm losing. He's broke, he's broke, he's broke, he's broke, he's broke, he's broke, they're 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 broke. They're waiting to get paid on Friday. She's broke, he's broke. He's broke. This person driving in this Infiniti is broke and don't have insurance, more than likely. They're broke, they're broke, they're broke, they're broke, they're broke, they're broke. Sean Diddy Combs had $500 million. He's a billionaire. But all these people around here broke. The city broke. Go ask the mayor. She'll tell you, she broke. Ask the city council, go Zach, he's broke. The guy right there, has an occupation to occupy his time, but he's broke. It's the government, but the government is that American citizen. The Federal Bureau is exactly who we deny who we are, but in reality, we're the same people holding down our same people. We're the same individuals that say, yes, Sean Diddy Combs needs to go to prison for the rest of his life. He had boxes of baby oil. The jury is not a part of the Federal Bureau of Investigations. The jury is jury of his peers supposed to be. Now, one is saying he's holding out. One juror is saying, yes, he's holding out. He is not going to participate in the bullying, and it's already a mistrial. This should already be a mistrial. Taking Sean Diddy Combs off the street is taking industry away. It wasn't an R. Kelly case. R. Kelly was broke. R. Kelly had a whole bunch of no-name brand people. We didn't understand the case. R. Kelly did things that we don't even know. We don't even know the case. He was broke. Now R. Kelly is crying in prison and doing anything to get out. You have to dang near die to get out of prison after a conviction. That's why it's important. Because even if he's sentenced to Donald Trump's trial cost billions of dollars. And then they say, no, we have to clean up the Palisades. That's another billions of dollars. Then they say Iran. And then you remember they spent all of that money over there to give the short little guy, I can't think of his name, Ukraine. They gave him billions of dollars. But how much has the government said, well, they're going to give you? They should give, every time the American government is involved in any tobacco per se, war, they should pay each American citizen $100. We've been through 4 trials that not going to benefit. Even this trial costs state, it costs money to hold a trial. Who do you think is paying for it? Every day you wake up above ground, you are a winner. That is true. Every day you wake up, somebody just commented, that is, I'm sorry, I got shades on. Brenda, every day you wake up above ground, you're a winner. But what's above that? Every day we're successful. Every day we're successful. But how far will our success go? In other words, how far are you willing to be a success? How far will you go to be a success? How far will you go? This whole thing is about, if he's found guilty right now, and that's why I have to get my charge back on my phone. We'll be going back live. It'll be at a different location. But we're going to stick with this case. With these devices, you can't go anywhere near the Federal Bureau of Investigation's buildings. It's an experiment. If I took my phone right now and I went up to the feds right now, they're right down the street, they will send signals to this phone and won't allow me to have one person watching. I've been in protests and riots where the helicopters above can turn your phone off. So you have to switch your phone off. If you're ever in a protest and you're ever in a big city, make sure your phone is off. And then they start to say, if you turn your phone off, you're going to have data charges. But turn your phone off. Because when you turn it off, you have a better chance of ducking some of the technology that's out here. Sean Diddy Combs is against all of that. They're taking away all of the technology, even though prisoners get cell phones. Somebody said this is all about shaming and twisting karma. Very good point. They tried to embarrass him in front of his whole entire family. His family still stood there knowing that most families don't get millions of dollars, Maybachs, and all these luxury gifts for their whatever that may be. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. You notice that some demographic of people probably only eat once or twice a week. If you see that one person and they're very skinny and they are in Chipotle, you better believe, I don't care what skin color there is, they probably are going to eat that one meal. When you see a skinny person at Chipotle, you know for sure, you think, well, they go here all day. No, they're probably eating 1 or 2 meals a week. That's what Americans are doing to survive, and white Americans, I will say that. This is not just a color thing. This is a class thing. If you were white as snow, you more than likely would never be as successful as Sean Diddy Combs. Not one person that passed me today will ever be worth $500 million. You have to face reality. Not one person that passed me today will ever be worth $500 million. If we bet on it, we'll win it every single time. Not one single person. Not even one single person. I'm not one of these people that put you in a fantasy role and you just donate a bunch of money. We have to get to reality. You see that white man that just came out of there? He's probably worked his whole life. He's probably worked his whole entire life. He's never going to see any type of money like that. He's never going to see any type of money. This young man right here crossing the street, more than likely, would never see $1 million in his life. Would never. Even driving a Mercedes-Benz here, an Audi, he would never see $3-4 million cash. He would never see it. The guy driving a truck broke. You know how much that payment is? Do you understand how much that payment is? The guy driving this truck here broke. Broke. You say, well, what I would do is, the guy's giving up now. He's kind of giving up on the attention. Listen, I've been to some of the biggest cities in the world. I covered some of the biggest stories, even Kobe Bryant. I was out there with the Federal Bureau. I was out there asking the questions because that amendment gives you that right to ask those questions. You have to give up on a person like me if you think you're going to distract me with a juggler. You have to think a little bit harder. Nothing is going to distract me from my goal, and nothing should distract you from your goal. Don't let it be about the money. You say it's about the money, it's about the logo, it's about the car I drive. Everybody out here broke. They can barely pay for a sub down there. Everybody. White, black, red, yellow, it doesn't matter. They don't have $10. They're waiting on payday for Friday. Why get mad at your old coworkers when they don't have lunch money? Why get mad at your old boss when they can't even pay the bills and they're in tax debt up the yin yang? Don't get mad at poor people. Get mad at the people that can actually help you, and that's nobody. Only person that's going to help you is you. He said, unless you own your business. Yeah, if you own your business like Sean Diddy Combs, the Federal Bureau of Investigations might be ready to investigate. Even if you own your own business, my friends. A photography plug. Honestly, we did about a few $1,000s in the last year, maybe 20. Just not even trying, right? But no business will want to. Just imagine if you get close to 250,000 followers. Do you think the business wants to hire you now? Do you actually think empowering yourself is going to make Wachovia want to hire you, make Shell want to hire you, make Kia want to hire you? The more powerful you become in life, the less likely these companies want to deal with you. They say, oh man, he got a social presence. Oh man, he reaches out to people from all over come to his page. Oh man, you better watch out for that guy. Sean Diddy Combs was never convicted of a felon, but he was, because we know being black in America is a felony. And we're doing all this hoopla for the media. He's going to be pardoned by Donald Trump anyway. So Donald Trump gets off, and should have. He was the president of the United States of America. That money didn't come to us. The Iran war, billions of dollars. Ukraine, billions of dollars. This trial, hundreds of millions of dollars. people wonder why it's so important for Sean Diddy Combs, because he could have been the president of the United States of America. That defense is so very important. That defense is so very important. Think about the demographic, the differences between when you go to work every single day and your wife comes home or your girlfriend comes home and she says to you, I got a raise. And you didn't realize she wasn't with Sean Puffy Combs, no. But the fact that she was with her boss, late hours, drinking. The diversity, my friends. People think they're winning and they're losing. The future thinks they're winning and they're losing. They would never have a large amount of money. The majority of these people that passed me today, now 1 out of 21 people in New York are millionaires. 1 out of 21 people in New York are supposedly millionaires. They will still never allocate and have that type of money of a $500 million establishment, a $1 billion establishment, yachts and jets. You remember when Sean Diddy Combs got off that jet and did that dance? That jet was his and eluded the Federal Bureau. That's a reality. Somebody said that's effed up. That is a reality. That is just a reality that most of these people would never have any money. We're in a rat race of complacency. How much money do you think these two individuals have? Not much. Not much at all. I promise you, if they had to pull out $200 cash right now and your life depended on it, you might be in a lot of trouble. You might not, but in other words, you say they tried their best. You're short. So it's about that business owner that's on trial. It's about that entrepreneur that's on trial. Not just Sean Diddy Combs is on trial. America's society and system is on trial. People are going to look at this. Somebody said, what's done in the dark comes in the light, but what's legal is legal. What's illegal is illegal. What's legal is legal, and what's illegal is illegal. It's not, oh man, that's messed up. That's not illegal. If I take my shoes off and put a towel on me and pretend to kick my girlfriend, I don't deserve life in prison. And especially if you paid her $20 million. How many women out there have been abused but not paid $20 million? I mean, if you moved on with your life, you're pregnant, you had a baby, you got $30 million out the deal, what else do you want? Does anybody in the chat have $30 million? We could talk about $20 million all day. The people passing me are never going to have it in their lifetime. They're never going to get it. It's a fantasy that is put into Americans' heads that we can make it and we can be the richest in the world. And once we do the same thing other people are doing, they say, no, you can't do that because we're afraid of you. And then they say the biggest companies, we're talking about billion dollar companies, have came to me personally and said, oh no, oh no, oh no. Multimillionaires have looked at me and said, oh my God, what are you doing here? I'm exercising my rights. I'm becoming a business. Somebody said, you can stay home and be successful. That's very unlikely. That's very unlikely. If you stand home and you want to be successful, more than likely you're going to be a failure. That's one of those people that don't want you to show up. You make sure you show up every single time. I wouldn't care if it's Diddy trial. I wouldn't care if it's Holly Berry moving set. I wouldn't care what it was. If you could show up, you show up. And they say, well, it's power in social media. It's a whole lot more power without social media. You know my location. You know where I'm at right now. If I turn off social media, I could be anywhere in the world, in front of any person in the world, and they don't even know I'm there. With social media, I can broadcast to the world. There's Kanye West. Lady coming out right now. Broke. 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 We could go down the whole street. But he'll tell you. Broke. Broke. Been working for the post office for years. Busting his tail. Broke. They can barely afford lunch. So how in the world could somebody take away a person worth so much more money? And we're going to get back. I greatly appreciate everybody tuning in today. It's been a wonderful day. We'll be going back live. I appreciate all the comments, especially whoever's leaving the ring comments. I greatly appreciate you. Brazil's always tapped in. So many people have tapped in. You know, people don't know how to drive in this little spick town. Just drive your car, my friends. They'll stop like I'm Jesus Christ. I am not Jesus Christ. Keep going. Drive. We're trying to move the city forward. So we'll be going back live very soon. We're talking Sean Diddy Combs trial. And we're wondering what happens if we're live as that verdict comes back in. It could be days and weeks. We're already through the second day of deliberation. It's already the second day of deliberation. So keep that in mind. It's already the second day of deliberation. That very second day of deliberation. So we want to be live as those guilty verdicts come in. It's going to be nothing more or nothing less than guilty. The people that I'm passing by, they're part of the system. This whole system. You notice they're all, you know what? And they're part of this whole system that they think they're winning. Education level, all broke. Barely able to afford lunch. I promise you. I promise you. Barely able to really afford. They say, no, I got a farm. I got a truck. I got a farm. I got a truck. I got a farm and a truck. That's a little something. But I'm talking about real capitalism, real power, real net worth. If you know what a net worth is, very important. Right here, one of the black businesses right here, that hot dogs. That's what we got to offer. A few hot dogs. Shouts out to this man, very hard worker. So you think about these advertisements that they put in front of us, all these black faces that they try to disdain. Oh, black on black crime rules the world. What about Iran? What about Iraq? What about this Sean Diddy Combs case? What about when people do make it? What are you going to do? Then the Federal Bureau comes in, and next thing you know, you don't have anything. Guys, we'll be long. We're ended on this note here. Rest in peace to these individuals here. William Christopher Murray, 21, November 7th, died. But then blackface. Purposely done. This is the advertisement. Purposely done. purposely done. I'm not taking away from the beautiful people that lost their lives. They're absolutely amazing people, but it's a purpose